All right, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Yep. Let's double check. All right. Have a special show tonight with these lovely ladies that get together in the flesh every week. And so we thought, hey, let's bring them into the house. We've had some success with it before. And share your space with us and let us know what you're doing. And so it's going to be a good show. Let's see. High energy period, right? How's it going, everybody? We got a special show coming up with some beautiful ladies. We're going to see what's going on in their world on the front end of the front line of the apocalypse. All right, let's see. We got everybody unmute. Everybody unmute yourself. Let's see. Cindy, you're still muted. Lori Peterson and the gang. There you go. So how y'all doing?
Hello.
We got everybody. We got 5, right? That's right. Isn't that right?
There's 5, yeah. Yes.
Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Jamie. Lori, the ringleader, the troublemaker. She's in the center of my screen, so that fits. Cindy Apple. I recognize your name, Cindy. I've seen your name over the years. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I recognize it. Nikki, how are you? How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Todd?
I'm, hanging out by the pool drinking margaritas, as we say in Texas when we're doing nothing. It's either that or same old thing, bigger stick to stir it with, or what is it? So you guys all live in the same area, is that right? And you get together, I think I read on the post, every Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, how did that happen? Like, where did that get started? Because Lori was on the show, and I can't remember because I do so many shows, but I think I remember you had a place, like a commercial place you were redoing, and there were some stories behind it, and you were doing some stuff locally, but I think you were in a very small town too, weren't you?
Yeah, we're in a tiny little town in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Now, is everybody in the tiny little town?
Everybody but Cindy and I. Cindy lives about 5 minutes.
Oh, well, that's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, and the rest of them live about 35-minute drive.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And I actually grew up in the town that they live in, so I've known Bonnie and Cindy my whole life almost, and we didn't connect spiritually until more within the last 5 years, I'd say. Jamie and I have been connected since I moved to this town as well, pretty much, but more so over the last 3 to 4 years as I built my business. Jamie's been an amazing co-creator with me. We started collaborating pretty early, and then more so over the last, 1.5 to 2 years, but now we've sort of taken that to another level. In December, we started this group and we called it the Sacred Community Gatherings, where we were both guided that collaboration was essential, and that we were to meet regularly and connect. Like connection and collaboration were very essential. And Nikki I've known for about a year or two, I would say 2 years maybe, and she's just recently moved to Langenberg, but she's been a part of this group since so at the end of 2019 we started coming together, and we didn't know what that was going to look like. We thought we're just going to start it because all we know, we just need to show up and hold the space, and we'll be shown, we'll be guided, because we both all of us run very heart led businesses, and we know that we can just trust and flow with what is meant to come in. So it was really fascinating because we started doing, I was kind of guided to bring old information, the tools that I already had, that I already knew, forward again, such as learning about the chakra system and that sort of thing, because I felt we were going to expand our reach more, open the community more to people that were just sort of learning or wanting to know or more curious. And what was really cool about that, as we journeyed it ended up going 9 weeks or so through the chakra system, as we went through the route to see what we processed collectively, individually, collectively, and then to tune in online and see what the world was processing at the same time. It was really, really fascinating. And I'm like, this is bigger than we are thinking, like it's, it's huge and
powerful.
So Jamie, it was really powerful, and it's been really amazing. And so what we were guided to do, Jamie and I were co-creating, sort of taking turns leading that space. And what I was guided to do was to ask everyone who wanted to, not a forced thing, just if you're called to lead a session, lead the week. And I didn't know at that time that I was going to be evolving into this. I was like being shown how to collaborate on a bigger scale. And then at the end of June, once we had all taken turns leading a session, and I could see everybody stand up and shine, because it's just amazing. It's different when you're leading to watch, to sit and watch others lead, because it's just beautiful. It's really beautiful to experience, especially people that you're close to and you've never seen them in that leadership role or, whatever. And I feel very strongly that we're all essential to that whole. And we're all leaders. And so then I was just shown that how to create this group and what it's going to start to look like. And again, we're in this place, we don't know what it's going to evolve into. We just know that we need to expand our reach further on a more, internet, like more, take it online more, and to just open our hearts and our space to people, because I feel like, individually, I was often shown that I'm a lighthouse. We've created a vortex in this area, or not created, but we've tapped into a vortex in this area.
No, I'd say you created one. Either that or you're remixing an existing one.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly.
And so, so I was shown more like recently, and I wrote a post about it this morning in the group. We are all individually, we're lighthouses as an individual, but when we come together, we're like flashing disco ball.
Wow, I bet.
Like strobe light party,
like super balls,
fireworks happening at the same time. So just the magic of us coming together, the co-creation of this space is beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you for having us on. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for letting us in on your energy, on your vortex. So my biggest question is, how did you find 5 crazy people in the same geographic location? Because everybody online talks about not being able to find anybody in their neighborhood, and you're in a small area. And of course, I know there's some some of these, you've known some of these people for a while, but still, this is a powerful thing. I mean, now, so everybody takes a turn and leads, and you meet for what, a couple of hours, 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And so like just let me just get an idea. Like Bonnie, the last one that you led, what was it? What did you do?
Okay, I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Well, that
Exactly,
3D memory's gone.
but
So,
yeah. But I know what things I often will bring are like I do light language. I speak right, and yeah, just I do it with art. Like I do wax paintings.
Okay.
And the light languages within the wax itself, and also within drawings on it.
Yeah.
So so there's that. They created an activation, an acceleration of the very DNA.
Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm just trying to weave together here where your dynamics are, because it's one thing to get together with people. Like I know some people in California that have been involved with another group in Austin, but they're not like what I can tell this group is. I mean, they're not coming together doing activations, and with that type of collective purpose. What about you, Jamie? What do you do? What was the last one you did?
So for myself, I'm I'm not much of a planner. I kind of roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
I can only flow with the moment, and that's just how I operate always.
Yeah.
So I usually bring forward what has been coming up within me energetically, emotionally, feelings, and it usually tends to be the same within all five of us.
Yeah.
We're pretty much all collectively coming into the same. So I just kind of bring up what I feel in each moment. And I also like to co-creative hold space, I guess, as people would understand, as energy sessions, but I like to hold space in a co-creative way and ask our souls to come into that space and co-create to teach us. And through that, we've been able to activate each other.
Yeah.
Code within ourselves. It's that soul, each of our soul coming in and helping each other in that space, rather than the thinking of healing somebody or whatever.
Yeah. So I really like a group energy session versus an individual energy session. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of energy, to be creating like that. I'm surprised you don't have Black Hawk helicopters flying over in a couple of hours. And so Cindy, when you did the last one, what was it like?
The last one I did happened to be yesterday, actually.
Oh, and
yeah. I kind of roll like Jamie does. I journal every day, and so I keep track of what I'm experiencing throughout the weeks. And as we all know, we're all experiencing pretty much the same things. And so yesterday, I spoke about where we're at in the world right now with our COVID experiences. And, the reactions that people are going through, and the actions and reactions, right? And just to have compassion for everybody that's around us. And so it was a very heartfelt speaking that I had yesterday, because
very cool. And
there's so much energy going on right now, and there's a lot of people that are lost and a lot of people that are confused, and so we're all collectively moving through it, and I really figured it needed to be spoken about. A lot of people are suffering quietly, and they don't know which way to go, and they are confused, and they don't know what to do about it, and so yeah, it was
very cool. And Nikki, what was your last one?
Well, Todd, I have to start with a quick second of that. It's 35 degrees Celsius here. I don't know what's it. That's 95 Fahrenheit for you. I looked it up. What's it? Mm-hmm. What's your temperature there?
Today it was about 90.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so this is hot for us. And this church that I'm in, I don't know if you can see the background here, is like a lovely sauna. But I thought I have to show Todd the church, because that kind of explains what I wish to contribute and have contributed. So I bought this church in May after meeting all the girls, fell in love with everybody in that community in this amazing vortex. And my vision is to bring this as a community center. So with COVID, it was very cool to just take that online right away instead of being able to gather here. So on our last one, I'm kind of a facilitator. I like to ask questions. And one of the questions I asked was really simple, but I said, what are you most proud of since this Armageddon hit us? Like, what's the thing that you are just like, oh, that was such a victory. It might've been really tough. And, you know, I remember mine was really simple, but it was, I had a moment where somebody was placing judgment upon me. We talk lots about judgment and how that's a reflection on ourselves and when we do it. And I remember thinking this person was judging me, and I had a choice that very first time to actually believe what I chose to believe about myself. So it was this glorious moment.
Yeah.
And each of the ladies and all the people that had joined us that time, they all spoke about it. So it was pretty cool just to hear everyone celebrate the gifts of what this has brought to us. So, yeah.
Sounds like you chose yourself, right? In the best of ways. I mean, you know, that's ultimately, I think, where we're all headed to. So that's interesting. So really listening to all of you and then listening to what Lori said at the beginning, you're basically bringing up current intel. You know, I mean, this, you know, thing about when were you most proud? That was still pretty current because that had to do with the COVID. But I mean, so like you're bringing it all to the table, like Lori said, activating each other, opening code in each other. And it sounds like you're all about taking it into yourself. And then you go on to the net and see who else is jiving with it. And I think there's a lot of pockets like this, a lot of cells like this all around the world. But yeah, I think that's a really good subject. I don't know if you guys want to, you guys certainly can talk about anything you want. But what Cindy had brought up and what Nikki was talking about, that is something that's in our face. And it is creating a lot of things out there. That's all I can say. But I'll hand it over to you. You guide us.
So essentially what we're doing is what we're each individually processing in the day, you know, or the week leading up to, because you start tuning into that frequency of what you're going to create already. You know, if it's your turn to lead that week, you're already tuning into, you know, so you're picking up on what is important and what's relevant. And so sometimes I'm shown like a process that is a process that goes with it. You know, it's like, this is happening for me. And then I'll get a download of how to integrate it or incorporate, you know, heal it within my, I don't know if healing is the right, like make space for it in my system to transmute it. And so then I'll share that with the group, and it's really powerful. And yeah, just the sharing and just being held in the space. And yesterday I was, you know, we had sometimes we'll have a private chat before we go on. And it was really important for me to share, you know, yes, I, you know, technically started this group. I'm the one to stand up and lead in that sense, but we're all standing up and leading together. So it was really important. I had to share some, you know, some triggers and things that were coming up for me. It wasn't, when I had done that, it wasn't as like a pointing fingers at anyone else. It was just like, this is what's going on for me. And it's really important that I express it, because I want all of you to know that it's really important that you express each of your things as they come up. It's really important to be raw, authentic, and real. And our voices need to be heard. And I want this space for me to be held. And I want to hold each of you as you process in whatever way that looks. And can we be compassionate enough to understand that we're all processing. We're all having this human experience that's really interesting to navigate in our world right now, you know. Well, and integrating that into
I love that you guys break it down, because you know, people talk about triggers. I mean, we all deal with triggers, but and when and so you're taking it to another level where you're actually, where two or more gather, you're actually saying, hey, this is how I feel. And it doesn't matter if you're projecting or, you know, I mean, like you said, you're not really in judgment. You're just letting it out. And to, you know, to hold space for that and listen and let it release, because I guess that's really what it's doing.
Yeah.
Rather than having an engagement of you know, he said, she said, or, you know, back and forth and back and forth. It sounds like a very healthy environment, because there are, you know, 5 of you. And so that, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's interesting, because we talk about the triggers and, you know, what do you do when you get triggered, but actually allowing someone to, you know, act out or say whatever they got to say or whatever it may be without judgment. That's a very powerful thing. I think that's a very powerful transformational energetic experience.
I think we all really understand the energy of it, and we all understand that it's us. What we have to share and feel is not a projection onto anybody else. It is all within us.
Yeah.
And what's beautiful is that when we share to each other, it actually, it's that momentum of putting it into action. And lots of times it's not even that somebody has to say something to change your perspective. It's just that holding space, and just through speaking about it, you come into this inner knowing for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I was,
sorry, Nikki.
oh, sorry, Bon. Yeah, I'll be real quick, honey. Oh, you know I
No,
won't.
you don't have to.
That's fine. When Lori and I were sitting on a patio at an art retreat last summer, and I remember talking about, you know, when I spent some time in Africa and really noticed how the women took such great care of each other, like they really were dependent on each other. And our culture, our North American culture, isn't always like that. It encourages cooperation versus collaboration. And of course, Lori and I realized how similar our visions were, and then, you know, came on board with that. But when I think about the Dalai Lama, he said the Western world will be healed, or excuse me, the world will be healed by the Western woman. And I think what he means is that, I mean, for my interpretation is, I think if we can have each other's backs and we can embrace that masculine and the feminine, and have the men who are doing the same join in that unity instead of the separation that we've created in our environments, that was an incredible gift. And to do it at the grassroots, where it really was for us, that each session is about how do we transmute, that's the big word, whatever it is we're triggered by, into a great gift, and become more of the observer within that. So it's just been an amazing, I don't think I could have got through it so readily and well without this community. It's extraordinary. And all the community of the planet. It's been awesome, like you, Todd, and what you guys are doing.
Wow. Yeah. Good stuff. Bonnie, you were going to say something.
Yes, I love that we can all speak freely. We're all sentient beings, and we're not here to. It was kind of funny, because one day in one of a note from Lori, she had said in our vision of who we are and how we want to be in the world, it said we don't heal others. And anyways, I was just quoting that and saying I love that part about, you know, we don't heal others, blah blah blah. But my autocorrect wrote we don't kill others. So Lori writes me back and just says, we do not kill others. We do not kill others.
I think you were transmuting like some past lives way back.
But it was, you know, it was so funny, because we and this is how we are. There, you know, there's times when we're crying, and there's times when we're laughing, and you know, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And but we also respect each other, and know that it's important for us all to be heard, and also for us to speak our voice. I'm learning so much about speaking my authentic voice within this group, because, you know, I've always been, you know, just kind of like a people pleaser, and you know, afraid to say how I really feel, not realizing that that's actually not helping anyone, because then they think you want this, or you want things this way, so they move this way, and then you come back and you say, oh no, that's not what I want. And it's just like, oh, just say what you want, you know. It's like, so
I don't think the universal energy is supporting people pleasing anymore.
No.
No,
And
which,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, we're so uncomfortable. We're so uncomfortable when we're out of alignment with ourselves.
yeah,
And this is what we're finding in this group. So,
yeah.
you know, yeah, we just don't waste time in that space.
Yeah, and that's such a subtle, there's so many subtleties to that energy that it's like a codependent energy that's just like
Mhm.
deeply embedded in us in all these ways you don't even think about. But I would imagine, let me ask Cindy. So, I mean, that's a very big container, as people say, the container. Uh, that's a big field with a lot to offer. Cindy, have you, people talk about inner work or shadow work or unconscious shadow that we have. And I know that, women have tended to be better communicators. Well, they are. They have been, let's just say post-awakening or pre-awakening. There was no question. And so a lot of it, you would run into, two friends that have been friends a long time. They could actually be kind of honest with each other and, went pretty deep. Have y'all discovered, Cindy, in these sessions, because that's what they are, these sessions, have you guys had any like really deep shadow stuff come up that was tough?
No, Todd, no deep shadow
No,
stuff.
Oh,
none at
okay.
all.
Ah,
Just dipping margaritas by the pool
Well,
over here.
I was hoping you'd say that so we could
Yeah.
take the camera outside and watch you walk on water.
Get the
But I mean-
shovel out. There's a
but I
lot
mean-
of stuff. filled in.
Yeah, but because I know, like being with Morgan, I mean, as soon as I met her, it was, like I knew I could tell her, like you're talking about. You knew you could speak without judgment, and space being held, and some, really deep stuff, gut wrenching stuff comes up. Your body starts having all these reactions. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. But in that space, I would imagine one, you'd have a higher potential for those type of discoveries to be made, and number two, of course, you've got a big container of support too.
yeah, absolutely. And I think what happens is that, like, when we're working together, um, we're working through shadows, and then the processing and the shadows come up even more so in the weeks, the week following.
Oh, wow.
There's so much energy that's exchanged, and just by us gathering together in a group, there's so much to process in between and while we're together, right? If somebody is triggered or going through something, of course we work with them and talk through it, and from 5 different views and 5 different perspectives, and it's beautiful,
Yeah.
right? But it also, all those 5 different perspectives can also trigger other things in us that.
Well, y'all don't ever trigger each other, do you? Do you ever trigger each other? Yeah,
No.
I'm kidding. Don't open that. Don't open that can of worms.
Not at all.
So, Lori, so because you've met on a regular basis, have you seen any type of, cycle, or not? I want to say cycle, but like, for instance, one of the things that I've, come to understand is when you have a huge activation, and you can have Kundalini and you can have whatever, sometimes there's a big drop afterwards, like it just, the bottom drops out and you're looking around going, where's everybody? Like something like that. Have you noticed any type of rhythm to, the meetings every week?
Well, I know that we often feel like lifetimes have passed every time. It's like, has it only been a week? Because holy hell, there's been a lot that's happened. I noticed the cycles within myself. Like, I've really been guided to really tune into my natural cycles, and that will be this period of, it just seems like, flat sort of thing, or just coasting, and this, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not ever coasting. I'm busy, but I kind of am yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
I did that exact. I feel like I'm just swimming along and observing, and it's like, wow, there's, everything going on around me, and it's okay. I'm just swimming, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. And then this last few days, I would say since the 15th, I start to feel, I know, like it just starts to feel like this constriction start to happen, and we can start to feel this happening within all of us. And I was like, ooh, something big's happening here. And so, yes, that's what's happening right now. Like we're in that constriction, and that sort of like, it's going to crack open phase. And so when I do that, for me, I get into this space like, well, I don't know what I'm doing here anymore. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't know what I've created. Here I am, and then something like, boom, something, and this is a cycle for me in my life. Something huge will sort of birth. And that happened with when I created the wellness center. And then, I've had a few life altering events over the last few years. And so it's sort of a similar rhythm for me that way. Notice I didn't just go like a gentle wave. It's like those peaked,
I was going to say, you guys are swimming, I'm dog paddling, so I know you're doing better than me.
And some other things I've noticed, like, yes, there'll be things like we'll process little, we'll process some things in our personal lives, and we know each other outside of just this group. So it'll be like, oh, I'm going through that too. And so that's really fascinating because, it will shake up a lot of stuff, but we all have really incredible tools and knowledge and understanding that's ours to deal with. That's our responsibility. So when you ask, do we trigger each other? Well, there are always triggers whenever you have any interaction with any other human, or there's, and I'm not meaning it's a big blow up or anything, but there'll be things that come up, but we communicate really well. Our energies really align well, which is why we're in this space together. And it seems to be able to flow. We flow into that and out of it fairly easily. And what I've noticed, Jamie and I work probably the most closely together, just because we work in the same workspace and everything, and collaborate a little bit more than this group. Her and I will mirror each other sometimes. So when I'm like heightened and having an experience where it's like, I don't, and she'll be like, oh, I'm swimming along, and vice versa, where if she's having something and I'm going, oh, wow, I'm totally at peace and calm with this. But it's amazing because it's like, well, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's powerful too, because normally, we're just getting to the point now where it's being done one-on-one, like couples and friends, and to be able to do what you're saying, where you're mirroring, that's not always easy. Because if I'm heightened and, Morgan's super cool, I might get more heightened. I don't know. But to have more than one, really, you've each got 4 partners. And that's a powerful geometric equation. I mean, so I can see where, that really amps everything up in terms of awareness. And, and I would think too, being that there's 5 of y'all, your ability to be more open is supported too, because as we get, as we climb Jacob's ladder, so to speak, you get to a higher level and then you see things you didn't see before, and that's not always nice. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So Jamie, in regard to the COVID situation and the quarantine, there is so much out there. I mean, it's just, there's so many different aspects you could talk to, but in terms of the group, like, what did it bring to the table, subject matter, and what did you guys do with that information or that energy in terms of transforming for yourself and even to serve the collective? Although when you do it for yourself, I'm a firm believer that's the best thing you can do for the collective. But I mean, do you send up prayers, activation, work the grid? And then, of course, like I said at the beginning, on a personal level, how did that affect you?
So what's interesting for us is that we are in a very secluded area, right? We have abundance of land all around us. I don't think a single one of us have well, I won't say that. We haven't completely felt our freedom taken from us.
Okay.
As much as things slowed down, we were all still continuing and growing. And I think most of us actually see more positive in what COVID has brought than what it hasn't. Just for the two of us that have children going back to school here soon, this is right now, I find, is when we're going to be a little more triggered, because all of a sudden they need to be donating a mask, all this stuff that's coming up, right? So it's really interesting to see how that's going to play out. None of us have really fallen into the, going down the rabbit hole, so to say. I know it's been brought up in other groups that we're part of. Whether or not anybody's engaged in that, nobody's really shared. So like I said, up here in Canada, in Saskatchewan, it's been pretty chill. Like, we haven't experienced what we have seen outwardly around us. So I think we're all pretty grateful for that. But at the same time, it's not, I wouldn't say necessarily we're sending out prayers, but I think we all are very coming into that, what we're seeing in the outside world, seeing that within ourselves and healing it within ourselves, and knowing that we have every single one of those aspects, good, bad, and ugly. They're all here, and we're all really coming in and healing it from this point and allowing that energy to flow out. Yeah,
not just words. I mean, you're actually embodying that, which again, I would think the group enhances the potential for that. That's another, I mean, you guys did a great job planning this before you ever came into this incarnation. Obviously, you picked the right location and the right people. Bonnie, do you ever feel like, have you guys had any soul recognition episodes?
Oh,
where your faces are morphing and stuff like that?
Everyone is familiar to me, no matter where I go, I've never met them before. Whether I'm on a flight, on a plane, or in a restaurant, in another place that I've never visited, everyone is familiar to me. And but this group was especially, like, I always see my connection before I came here that I had with others, and I recognize them, and I recognize the personality. Like, I'm not surprised when they speak a certain way or what they say or whatever. But this group in particular, and there are some others that have joined in membership as well. That I remember them from. Well, I remember everyone that's here, including yourself, from Lemuria, Atlantis times, and
we all got around, didn't we?
we sure did. Yeah, and when you were talking about COVID, I just wanted to share. We can connect with anyone or anything, and have a conversation with it. And so one day I asked if, there were so many conspiracy theories going on, and I didn't know what was true and what wasn't true. And I just asked, I went inside and I asked my team, which is my higher self and everything, being at one with everything. I asked, is there any truth in this? And the answer came back. It was almost like, it was like, what does it really matter for you being in alignment with you, if they're true or not? And then I thought, oh, okay. And then I asked to speak the virus, to see the virus, communicate and connect with it. And and I've spoken to it on 3 different occasions now, but the first time, it was just, it blew me away. I saw it from the outside as if I was looking on, and I saw it as if I was the eyes of it looking out, and I also saw inside of it. And but first of all, I felt it. I felt how it felt, and that's the image that came through, was this feeling like, it was actually, surprisingly, it was a great deal of surprise, and a great deal of pride and joy that it was fulfilling its mission for which it came, and that it was sticking to what it came here to do, and that its purpose was pure, even if even if other things associated with were not, to raise the consciousness of humanity. And, you know, when I saw the love that it had for humanity.
Yeah.
And it was, and honestly, like, it just, you know, I just felt this honor and this love that this would do this consciousness would do this difficult task.
Yeah.
And because it was also feeling, when I was feeling it was feeling like knives and daggers coming, you know, like it was being attacked. Like everyone hated it and was trying to get rid of it. And yeah, it was just
talk about
incredible.
The hero's journey. Talk about the hero's journey.
Yes.
You know, when because I totally get what you're saying. I mean, if you think about what you're saying, I mean, you could look at the energy complex of COVID, that consciousness, and it would be on par with the Arcturian, you know, mind, or the Council of Nine, or, you know, I mean, that's a powerful thing. And it's down here in the trenches with us. You know, it's not up in the ethers. It's got a physicality to it. And then, of course, you know, like you said, receiving all that negative and being able to, so that's a powerful story. That's really, I'm glad you shared that with us.
Thank you. Yes, I told it that, you know, I couldn't help but tell it that I loved it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
To say
Morgan and I had some reptilians come in about 3 or 4 months ago, and it was very much like that. And, you know, it started with a very reverent atmosphere, obviously came into the room, honor, respect. And they basically, you know, to make a long story short, they said pretty much the same thing. You know, our job is done now. It wasn't always easy. You know, there's a lot of wrong impressions and this and that, but we've done our work. And, you know, it was a complete, you know, I guess, alignment, you know, and equality, or however you want to put it. But yeah, everything is truly the same God substance, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it's got a physicality or not. I was going to ask you, Nikki, I think I'm supposed to ask you this. What is I know Morgan and I have had some, you know, mutual dimensional experiences. You know, two people see or experience the same thing. What's the wildest thing that's happened with you guys? Or if not, what's the, you know, like the biggest, you know, activation you've had, or biggest enhancement you've had?
Oh, there's so many to choose from, but the one that popped in my mind is we were in a circle. Larry, Lori, Larry, feminine and masculine. Todd.
My masculine.
And so we'd had a sound therapy workshop in this church before I bought it, and that's the day I fell in love with it. But I remember we all did a meditation. Of course, we're all in our own moments. And as the first person started to share, I had seen very specific images. Like, for example, this one girl, I'd seen her in a gypsy caravan in my mind, and I could actually see the people as he was clearing. I could see the people in other realms as he was clearing them, as he went around the circle. And then when they shared their examples, like this one girl's like, yeah, I was on this really windy road. I'm like, yeah, in a gypsy caravan. And she's like, yes. And it was very, it was kind of the first time I'd felt that communally, that I could see the pictures of all of these lovely people. There was another quick instance where Bonnie, you asked us if we recognized each other, but Bonnie, I recognized right away her face. She definitely appeared as a relative of mine. But what happened specifically, one day we had just done there was 10 or 12 of us in Laurie's shop, and it had been a really amazing, we were all just, oh my goodness, that was so cool. And Bonnie walks over to me and she goes, Nikki, I have light language for you. I have light expression, she likes to call it. And I just stood, and it's interesting how as soon as she starts, it's like you go into this physical meditation, like you can't almost move. And I just, and then I instantly saw her face change, but it was still her, but I could see her. She had much darker skin and dark eyes. I could see her in this particular setting. And then I got other flashes of other pieces of her. And it was like, as she was talking to me, I could see her in all her forms. And that has happened to me a few other times, with people. I'll see Lori's little fairy ears sometimes and, little funny, weird things. So, I guess I just realized that stuff's not completely cuckoo, that it's just what we're capable of, and to just enjoy it and be very playful within it. So it's been cool.
It sounds like the energy is very palpable. Cindy, would you be surprised, Cindy, if with the level of the energy there, if you got you guys had like a visitation or a ship over your facility?
Got one.
Tell us, Cindy. We need to know about this.
Well, I don't know about a ship, but I guess we'll see. I had a powerful thing happen to me the other night, and I still am trying to process it. I had taken some body intelligence training, months back anyway, probably 9 months or so back. And during this training, it was so the intelligence in your body, and really tuning into that, and taking your awareness out of your body via your senses, right? And so the other night, we had a couple grand boys spending the night, and I went out onto the couch. I woke up at like 4 a.m, and sometimes when I wake up in the night to break patterns that are happening, I'll write. So I got up to go to the couch, and I was all of a sudden practicing bringing my awareness via all my senses in my whole body, out of my body, and I fell asleep when I did that. And so the last thing I remember, I had encompassed the whole first floor of my home. So that was where I was when I fell. And what happened was, I all of a sudden, and I mean, you can call it a dream, you can call it whatever, but it was so real to me. My other half was doing the dishes, and I was standing behind him, and all of a sudden his hair just turned into these wiry balls coming out of his head, and he turned completely black, and his hair and everything turned completely black, and I had the most intense feeling shoot right through my body, and I woke up, opened my eyes, whatever you want to say, and it was gone. So it was powerful, because it was something was here, right? And it left. And I closed my eyes again, and it came back through me, and I heard my house door open and slam. And I looked at my front door, because it's right across from me. I looked at my front door, and I swear I saw it close. I heard it slam, and it was gone, and the energy was gone. And so, if you want to call that a ship, I sure as hell hope it came to get whatever that was.
You can't make this shift up. You can't make this shift up.
Because it was so powerful, my goodness. And I've never experienced anything so real. It was so real. Like, I don't remember dreams. I don't usually.
Well, the dimensions are looks like they're bleeding into each other now. And so with this kind of, I mean, to me, it's almost like you must have geographically a portal. There's got to be a portal there, and then you come in and create a vortex within that portal, and you're like raising up your frequency, just like on a radio, and you're picking up more stations. You're not even like Sirius radio. You're like multiverse radio. I mean, you guys could have anything pop in. So Lori, so you made reference to what you guys are doing online, and I'm not totally clear on it. I just want everybody to have an idea what you're doing. So you're doing this online. You're together, but you're doing it online every Monday.
Actually,
or you come together every Monday?
We actually do it in a Zoom chat like this, to present in that way. We really like to meet in person, but just for visually for the group and everything. Yeah.
It'd be easier like this. Yeah.
Yeah, just nice to have the face to
So
face.
do you have like, and you said something about, I think I read that you said you had 50 or 60 people come into the group, I guess, to view. Was that right?
Well, we have about 25 in the group right now.
Okay.
We have a subscription membership, and it's like so we get to you pick what you have to stay there, honey. Sit down. Sorry, my daughter's trying to come in, but she's no, you can't come on. So you get to pick what you pay. She's 6.5. She's almost 7, and
Yeah,
she
she's
is
more
the
lit than
fairy
any.
goddess.
She's more lit than any of us. So
yeah, she is. She's amazing. I have 3 of them, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
So you get to pick what you pay for the subscription, 55 to 111 a month, and it includes the Monday night gatherings where we do a topic and discussion and process and whatever is coming up, and then we rotate Friday mornings doing a guided meditation as well. And then once a month, we'll host an open forum where everybody in the group can come together and just an open chat. And yeah, so it's just really beautiful. I feel like it's really valuable for what we have. And the idea is collaboration, co-creation, and the community building. Definitely the need to build community.
yeah.
And something that's like bubbling up that I need to share, because we were talking about visitations. I had a visitation last night. I shared with Jamie, but I haven't shared with the other girls. I was like thumped in the heart, like in the chest, not like in a painful way, but I was awoken in the night last night, and sorry, I'm just gonna. There,
That's
did I
good.
do it?
Yeah.
Okay, better. Thank you. So I was awoken in the night, and I'm like, so then my senses were suddenly awake, and I could feel this as I'm talking about it too, this heat rising in my body. And I was like, okay, what is this? And I don't know, I don't remember hearing a voice. I just had this knowing that this is an alien visitation, and I was like, okay. And that this is going to, basically it told me that get ready, because this is going to be happening more often.
Yeah.
And the collaboration, we're co-creating, we're collaborating here in this life, face-to-face human, but we're going to start collaborating interdimensionally. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. And after, I was just filled with this heat and just this like really great feeling of calm and love, and but yeah, this body feeling of heat, and it just reminded me this is okay. It's just the energy integrating.
I'll say, send me some water from the local stream over there.
Woo!
I want to drink some of that water.
Speaking of that, Jamie, I want you to talk about what you.
Yeah, I was going to go to Jamie next anyway. Go ahead.
So I'm a herbalist, so I deal with lots of plant medicines, but I've been really called to work with the water. And with that, so about a year ago, White Buffalo Woman it was integrated within me, and I was sent a physical pipe. And on it is etched blue, like a blue rivers on it. So it's like, I call it the water pipe. So I've had this in session a few times, and it's I've been called to, we have all of our rivers and lakes here in Saskatchewan make their way down into the Mississippi. So everything here in Saskatchewan is integrated all through Manitoba, and then all the way down into your massive river system, your main river system, and down into the Gulf of Mexico. So I really feel, so I like to go and get water from these different sources, bring them back, hold them in ceremony, and then take them back and put that blessing into the water, because it has such a far reach.
Yeah.
I really feel that water carries, even scientifically, the stuff that they've been showing, the intelligence of water.
Yeah.
It has just been mind-blowing and heart expanding to me. And so yeah, I have like just that powerful water energy is huge to me. Even, the waters I use within my business, Lori will infuse it with crystals and her intention before I use it. And yeah, it's just amazing. Just, yeah.
It is. I mean, everything's alive. I mean, even like
Yeah.
what Bonnie was talking about with the COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
and somebody else said about, pulling up that energy and speaking to it, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. And I think now we're kind of getting into like what you're about to get into in your interdimensional collaboration. So we're starting to work in the ethers, having come through the physical, really. And that's what's so cool about what you're doing, because you guys you're doing it, you're embodying it, and you are now integrating more, or you're about to integrate more of the interdimensional aspects of us. So that's pretty wild. It really is.
Yeah, it's
So-
amazing. We are all conscious creators. So I make products, Jamie makes products. We each what is important to kind of share is that we each have our individual businesses, and we still collaborate as a group, even though there's some similarities and sometimes there's similar products. But what we've really noticed, like Jamie's a herbalist, I'm an aromatherapist by part of my background, and I was an esthetician for 20 years. So as far as skincare products and stuff. So, but we both have similar interests, like in plant remedies and medicines, but it's not worth her taking the 18-month course that I shouldn't say it's not worth. She doesn't need to take an 18-month course on aromatherapy when I've already done that. And I don't need to take an 18 or 2-year course on herbalism when she's already done that. And this works for all of us. I'm just using this as an example. So why not come together with our knowledge and co-create products and creating with that intention? I work a lot with crystal energy, like she's saying, to bring that into her products. I love that co-creation in that way, because that energy ripple that goes out, and that's actually how I prefer to work. I've kind of navigated away from individual sessions. I really like to work in group scenarios, and also creating products. And creating with that intention that, coming into 2020, I was guided that because I left the product making for a while, and I come back to, I was shown to bring it back and to create with intention, setting that, making a crystal grid around it and creating in that space, and getting into that meditative state of unconditional love frequency. Every time I create anything about the product, whether I'm doing the cleanup at the end, sanitizing everything, or whether I'm doing a product write-up or whatever, that every single step of it is infused with that love energy. And we're all doing that in our own way with what we're creating, and then coming together and just co-creating this space. It's just so beautiful.
Right on. So, and have y'all had any plans to take this publicly, just in this type of form? Have you thought about that at all?
Well, I guess we're kind of open to that, and hoping that we could potentially do that.
Well, maybe we're looking for more shows to produce as we're building this thing. And if you guys would like to come back like once a month and just one of those weekends or one of those Mondays, do it here and just do your normal thing, have somebody lead it and let people soak in, marinate in that energy and see what
Hell
happens.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing
Awesome.
we're doing one right now that's an ensemble by Sandra Mathis. She might have 1 or 2 hosts that come back every week, but yeah, there's 3 or 4 people on the screen. It's gone very well. It's a Q&A.
Oh, amazing.
It's a Q&A. So, and that's just the way I think it needs to flow that's the way I think it flows for all of us, is to be loose and just create and originate something. I love what, I think it was Jamie. I'm just like that, it's a spontaneous, just do it. I don't know how we're going to keep scheduling stuff as this thing keeps progressing.
We'll be shown.
So it's that's something that let's talk about that. And You know,
Yeah.
one Monday a month is that's a good, can't get out there and get too reckless and crazy and throw a bunch of stuff on there and it all be, stepping on each other's toes. But I think that's very doable, and I'd be certainly willing to support that, because we do need to get as much of this flowy, divine, feminine energy out there. I mean, obviously, we all know that's what took the hit in the patriarchal system, and we've all spent plenty of time, erasing the imprints that we thought made us who we are, but now we know a little different. And going back to the COVID, let's close it out this way. Because you guys have had so much time together, and because that came up, there's no coincidences, and it is the big thing up right now, and there's so much involved with it. I'd love to just go around the horn one time, and we can start with Bonnie, and I'll just guide you through it. What advice would you give to anyone out there who is confused, which I guess is all of us, in regard to the current situation? And it doesn't just have to be with COVID. It can just be a State of the Union right now, or not really a State of the Union, but what perspective could you give to us or anyone that might be needing it?
Go within and just see what it is, how your heart is connected with it, and what it brings up in you, and allow for compassion for all who are really afraid, compassion for those who are afraid of us if we're not wearing masks, or who are, just having compassion and kindness, and most of all, kindness for yourself.
Yeah.
And find ways to love yourself more every time you're feeling, just pulled in one direction or the other. Yeah, love yourself more in any way, in practical ways that you can.
Yeah, thank you. Nikki?
I'd say have fun. I'll tell you the life that we have. And I think the other part of that, I mean, my vision with the church, like you always think, oh, I don't have talents, but the thing I'm most passionate about is bringing people together. And this space was meant to bring all the artists out of us. So the next one, I'm doing one on the 31st. I'm going to lead the 31st. And I'm going to an art retreat. And a year ago at the art retreat, I talked to Lori, so I want to bring it full circle. And I would love to ask everybody, what is one small thing that you create that makes you happy and excited? And just to draw out whatever that is. Do you write a lyric? Do you dance? Do you, whatever it is, and have those pieces? Because I think if people can tap into their creative part and do things that are fun and playful. And if you ever get bored, come to Sunday Fun Day, Todd. Bring Morgan. We're going to have Sunday Fun Day at church. We'll have mimosas and music and art.
You had me at mimosas.
We'll bring, and Jamie's going to get you some water. So we'll just send it all. We'll just swoosh it down. All the fun. We'll just swoosh it up.
Mimosa than the hallucinogenic water. And then I'll wake up in bed with an ET. Oh, no, I already have an ET. I already wake up in bed with an ET. What am I talking about?
Oh, perfect.
I have seen you and Morgan visiting us in this space, so I feel like that. By the way, Nikki has a space for rent.
Yeah, space for rent.
If you ever want to locate, even temporarily, I feel like that probably will be in the future at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to get around a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, it's just my space is meant for artists in residence. That's my dream, is to bring people who need and want, and
all the crazy people. Well, you have a good start here.
Yes, you
got 4 plus you. That's 5.
Yeah, and you.
That's right. I fit right in. Cindy, what would you tell people right now with everything going on
about COVID?
Well, just from, as we've come to understand, and it's not even about how we got here, circumstances and consequences are the same damn thing today. It's about where we're at and where we're going. I mean, somebody had asked the question earlier. That's why I just kind of had the inkling to do this. And they were basically saying, what advice would you give to anyone such as the person that asked the questions, in terms of their awakening, you know, or what's going on right now?
I think for me, what's really been coming up is free will. To remember that you have free will and to go with what your gut is telling you and your intuition, because I just keep sensing how many people have forgotten and they're just condoning to what is happening around, you know, like, oh, that's what we got to do now. We got to put masks on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. And
Yeah.
it's not that's
Yeah.
unfolding when we forget, like, we have free will, we have intuition. What do you believe? Do you believe you should wear one?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't, then don't. And so I really strongly feel that we're losing that in so many different aspects that I've been watching unfold. And I just think it's so powerful for everybody to remember that.
Yeah.
What do I really believe? What do I really feel inside? What means what to me, right?
Yeah.
So
And a good time to remember too, we exercise free will's what got us in here. You know, a lot of time we think of free will's what we have, you know, at our disposal here in this incarnation, but I think we all made a choice to come here, and you know, and so that's a superpower. Choice is a superpower. Lori, what do you got on the way out? What do you got? Anything?
Exactly that. We have a choice to co-create in every experience. So the free will, we are sovereign. We have total power and control over our bodies and our energy fields. And it's really important to be honest with that and to recognize it and allow yourself to feel and understand that. And in our sovereignty, we get to stand up and express fully, authentically from our heart who we are and what is right for us. And the biggest thing for me right now has been every one of us is going through it. This is new for all of us. This is different for all of us.
Yeah.
We've all had a multitude of other experiences, but collectively, this is brand new for all of us.
Yeah.
And so just really tuning into that heart space and really connecting. What is your truth? What do you want to create? What do you want? You know, when a thought comes in or something, a fear, doubt, whatever comes in, it's looking at that and going, this is an old thought pattern, or this is the way I've always thought about this, but I have the ability to change it now. And as I release it, what's new? What do I want to create?
Yeah. So
how can I transmute those words or change and change this experience, change how I view it?
Yeah. It's like recycling, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
recycling being like a metaphor. Yeah. You're because we can't divorce ourselves from anything. So, you know, you can't just make energy go away. You know, and it's all the same energy, just has stuff on it that makes it look different or whatever. But yeah, I agree with that totally. And I totally agree. I say I say a lot on the show and a post now and then, go easy on yourself and go easy on each other, because the days of projection, you know, doubt, you know, the fear, everything it's not being supported anymore. So let go or be dragged, you know, because it's a collective situation that we can contribute to, and we do contribute to equally.
Yeah.
But from the human level, you know, it's a little bit different. I always say this too, you know, we're the ones down here doing the work. No disrespect to the archangels and the galactics and everybody, but you know, they're learning from us too. This is a universal correction or alignment. And I personally, you know, I'm very biased, and the human is the hero. And if there weren't ladies here, I'd add an F-bomb in front of the word hero. But
we use those F-bombs a few times too.
Okay, I knew I'd like it. Yeah, I'm good now. I'm sold. I'm good. Mimosas and F-bombs. I'm good. Well, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure meeting y'all, and I really appreciate you guys sharing space with us and honoring us with the energy that you all have. And I look forward to collaborating with you and supporting the situation if you're open to it, to come on once a month, and without me on camera, just you guys just do your thing and play with it and be creative and be the artists and crazy people that you are, because that's what's brought you together. you know.
Yeah.
What'll be
And,
kind
Yes.
of neat about that is we rotate. So even if we just broadcast with you once,
Yeah.
it would catch us all in that rotation. So that would be
Yeah.
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like 5 shows in one.
Yeah. Woohoo. Here we grow. I just want to share this mudra, the co-creation collaboration mudra. I saw a picture of that, and then I was given more information about this mudra in meditation, about how to do this for myself as a co-creation, the representation of the masculine and feminine
Oh,
coming
I
together
see.
in that infinity symbol.
So that's
It feels
this.
so you're kind of, the infinity, and then you've got the
Yeah.
Vesica Pisces that you're creating there, and these 3 fingers up, and so it feels really beautiful at the heart and throat. But this can be, adorned as a
Mhm.
crown. You can hold it wherever feels
Mhm.
the nicest, and at the root or where solar plexus, you can hold it any area of your body. And just thinking about that balance of bringing balance and harmony within. And we actually, when we physically meet in person, I was shown in meditation how we can create that same symbol when we cross our arms to, one another, standing in circle. And then you're actually free flowing within
Yeah.
that circle and able to create that. And also within partnership. So, if you're sitting behind Morgan and you grab her hands each that way, and then you can make, or beside her, it doesn't work face to face, just the way it, doesn't, you don't twist that way, but just how beautiful it feels to do that. And my kids love to do that with me. And when we get together, it feels really nice to do. And so just going to share that with all of you. And we like to do this at the beginning and the end, kind of as a cohesion of the group and a symbol of our collaboration and co-creation.
I think I
So
got it
thank
right.
you so much, Todd.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you sharing that and sharing everything that you have. And I look forward to seeing you all again.
Yeah.
You
Can't wait to be back.
You take care.
Thank
You
you so
too.
much.
Love.
Peace
Say hi to
out.
Morgan for us.
Bye.